Okay, so how do you cut a tree and make it fall to where you want it to fall? So here's a tree, it needs to go that way. So you come on the left side and you do a little wedge cut. So you cut across like this and you cut down at an angle, about 1/3 of the tree. So start cutting at an angle down to about 1/3 of the tree, and then come horizontally like that, and you take out that wedge. Then you come in from behind and you cut straight back, and that will create a hinge, and the tree will go like that over that hinge. Same tree, different angle. I'm trying to see how I can make it land towards this pile over here. Now, one thing you have to consider when you're cutting a tree, again, this is a small tree, is about probably about 10-inch diameter at the bottom, maybe 12. I mean, it'll still hurt you really bad, okay? Don't get me wrong. But one thing to consider is, you see that dead branch right there? That's a small branch, no big deal. And it's already dried up. But still, when you have trees like that you're cutting, sometimes the rattling of the chainsaw on the tree will loosen up a dead branches on top of you, and will come hit you in the back of the neck, and it slides out. It's a good idea to wear a hard hat when you're cutting down trees. I forgot my hard hat at home today, but I do have one, so just keep that in mind. Another point when you're cutting a tree, okay? In this case, I want to cut it straight into that brush pile right there. I don't want to cut it this way because it'll get hung up on this tree, and then it'll be a pain in the rear to cut it and do all these things. I'd rather just fall cleanly onto that brush pile. So if you notice at the bottom, there's a bunch of branches and stuff like that. So every time you cut a tree, check your environment where you're going to be working with, for two reasons. One, you're working with a chainsaw. You don't want to trip and fall on top of the chainsaw. Second, if that tree doesn't fall according to plan, you need a way to get out quickly. So always have an avenue of escape, and be sure that avenue of escape is clear of debris at the bottom. So just keep that in mind, and good luck. Okay, so here's a tree. I'm aiming for that brush pile right there. So I'm cutting the wedge from the top down, and there it is. You see that? So it's about a 5-inch gap wedge. And then the next step is come in, take the chainsaw out, and come in at it like this, horizontally. Okay, so that's gonna spit out this wedge here. It's gonna spit out, leave a big hinge. And then I come from behind here. I come from behind right there and just level and cut it. Okay, so once I get the wedge out, I'm gonna come at this level with the chainsaw from behind, and the tree will hinge in that direction. Okay, so there's the wedge, right? So you see, there's a Widowmaker still there. So you see how this wedge here is a cut, right? This is a big wedge. Look at my hand, just give you an idea. Relative to the tree, I put it here. It's about 1/3 of the size of the tree. Okay, look at the tree. Okay, so next step is I'm gonna come in from the back of the tree, right here, horizontally, like this, right? And that's gonna cause the tree to fall on that hinge straight into that brush pile over there. Okay, I'll show you in a minute. There it is. The textbook fell. Tree landed exactly where I wanted it to. It didn't go that way. It didn't go that way. It went straight into the brush pile where I wanted it to land. And here's the hinge. You see that? So I'm going to show you exactly. You see where when I came in from the back, eventually the weight of the tree, where you took out the wedge, it just collapses in that direction. And there's the hinge right there. You see where it broke off right there. So I came in a little lower, I think, but still it's gonna fall that way. And all I gotta do then is just take that off with the chainsaw and cut the tree and move it out of the way. Okay, well, I hope this was educational. It's a small tree. I'll give you a word of advice. There are some trees in this property that I don't touch, just because they're way too big, and I'm not very experienced. Okay, I'm far from being experienced. So another thing is, don't work alone like I'm doing right now. Okay, if I was here with somebody else would be filming this and give you a better video. But be careful when you're out alone. Have your phone. Be sure you can make calls. Although something like this lands in your head, you probably won't make a call. Anyway, but that's how you take down a tree with a chainsaw safely. And there it is. It's a big tree. And I regret taking this tree down, but it's on my fence line, and I got to redo this whole fence. This is my fence line with my neighbor. So these hackberry trees, they always grow in the fence line because birds stop on them, land in the wire, they poop, and then trees grow here. And when nobody takes care of the fences, you end up with a row of trees in between the fence line. Then you cannot redo your fence. And good fences make for good neighbors. So they got to go. The trees got to go. Anyway, 2 down, a few more to go.